Yeah, I thought took a week of holidays.
A lot of guys like you right. What's the advantage? Just a little easier to deal with.
All we can find help. Good.
Waiting on anybody else?
Yeah, you just
Not only
sing
good,
it up.
2, 4, 8.
They look a little more dangerous.
Y'all ready to get started, Sarah?
Y'all ready? I'm looking at you. I'm looking back.
Everybody ready? All right. Good evening, everyone. I would like to welcome you to the May meeting of the Prince Edward County Board of Supervisors. If you will, please join me in a word of prayer after the phone system gets set up. All right. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for this evening, Lord. We thank you for the opportunity that we have to come together and conduct the business of our local government. Lord, I thank you for each life represented here, each family that's represented here, for this community that is home to all of us that we love so much, that we care about, that we want to protect, that we want to do what's best for. And so I thank you for the ability and the freedom that we have to have discussion and debate over what the best path forward is for us, Lord. So I pray that you would direct our actions tonight, Lord, that you would direct our hearts to yourself. Father, thank you for this evening. I pray that you would bless it and that your presence would be here tonight. It's in Jesus' name that we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Please rise for the pledge. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. At this time, do we have any Board of Supervisors members who has a conflict of interest to disclose? Seeing none, we will move along to recognitions.
Good evening, members of the board.
Good evening.
Recognitions is an opportunity for the Board of Supervisors to recognize achievements in our community, focusing on accomplishments of students, employees, and our citizen volunteers who serve the County of Prince Edward. This month, our Employee of the Month for May is Chelsea George, Probation Officer with Piedmont Court Services. Since joining in May 2024, Ms. George has demonstrated a strong commitment to service, consistently stepping in to assist where needed across multiple localities. She was recently commended for going above and beyond to assist a customer at the clerk's office, leaving a positive and lasting impression. Ms. George exemplifies the county's core values through her teamwork, customer service, and positive approach. Thank you, Chelsea, for your dedication.
Excellent. At this time, the board would like to,
We have another one.
oh, we have another one.
Doug, were you going to do this with me? Okay.
Actually, hold on.
It's up to you. I don't
You
care.
can do it. You go ahead.
Okay. The Board of Supervisors recognizes Como for his service as a spring intern with Prince Edward County. A Hampden City College graduate on May 9th with a degree in business and economics, Gray has demonstrated leadership through his involvement in Phi Alpha Theta Pre-Law and Delta Kappa Epsilon fraternities, while also serving as vice president of the Pitmasters Grilling Club, a role that reflects his personality and enjoyment on hands-on, community-centered activities. He is currently serving in a temporary part-time role with the General District Court, gaining practical experience as he pursues a career in law. The board thanks Gray for his contributions and wishes him continued success.
Every semester, we try to have an intern or two in the office, and Ray really took to it like a duck in water, and he fit right in there. People came in, they thought he was a member of staff, so congratulations and good luck.
Ray, I would like to know when the barbecue.
That's what I was doing. Greg, I'll furnish the hog if you'll do it.
Greg, look, he only had naps for dinner so far.
That's right.
After this is over. Nice young man.
All right, congratulations. At this time, the board would like to open up the floor for public participation, and I have signed up on our list Mr. Howard Armistead.
Yes, thank you so much. Howard Armstead, Main Street, Farmville, Virginia. I know sometimes the members of the Board of Supervisors have people come up and ask them questions, and they just don't know the answer to. And there's a lot of talk right now about hantavirus. And these three people on a cruise ship that went to Argentina and three of them died from hantavirus. So people want to know, is this going to be a new pandemic? What's the deal? So I did my little research work here and got all the information on the hantavirus, which when we had Ebola in 2014 in West Africa, I knew that selenium could help save lives from hantavirus. So that was part of my package when I sent it to Liberia and helped them reduce the mortality rate from selenium, with selenium. So worldwide, we have about 200,000 cases of hantavirus every year. Most of those are in China, and they're mostly in areas that have low selenium in the soil. When you have low selenium in the soil, you have 200 to 600 times percentage the number of cases of hantavirus. Hantavirus does not kill most people. I mean, you can't transmit it. It's very hard to transmit it. You practically have to be sleeping in the bed with somebody to transmit it to somebody else. So it's not going to spread like these other viruses do. But it brings up the fact that America is not prepared for the next pandemic. You know, we don't even know about broad spectrum antiviral drugs. We don't know about selenium, how they affect and can save lives from viral pandemics. You know, as you know, I wrote the book, How to End Seropandemic Failure, HIV-1 to COVID-19. I just got the book in, the big one, How We Must Prepare for Future Deadly Pandemics, from Professor Michael Osterholm, who's head of the Infectious Disease Center, University of Minnesota. And so we are totally prepared. You can see what the press is doing with this. I heard 3 reports on it just on the news this morning. So just today, the Disney cruises, They had to cancel a cruise that would have 5,000 people on it because they were confused about viruses. And a lot of cruises get novavirus. We need to have the cruise ship industry to have antivirals on board. They should have selenium and broad-spectrum antiviral drugs so they can treat people that are on the cruise ship and not have to wait 3 days before they come into port to save their lives. We're not doing that. So we need to be viral smart, and that's what I've been studying for 35 years. So I'm just here to let all of you guys know that if you get any questions about hantavirus, tell your people, don't sleep with mice, because it comes from mice, from the aerosolized droppings of mice. That's how you get it breathing that stuff in. So we don't have it in this area. They have it in the southwest U.S., down by Arizona. We don't have any hantavirus in Prince Edward County, and we're not likely to get it. So thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
All right, I have no one else signed up on this particular list. Would anyone in the gallery like to speak at this time during public participation? Seeing none, we will move along to Board of Supervisors comments. Mr. Emmerich?
Just like to say thank each and every one of you for being here this evening.
Thank everyone for being here.
I'd like to say thank you for coming out, supporting your board, and seeing exactly what Board of Supervisors does. Thank you again.
Echo the same thoughts, and so hope we get some more rain.
Same, just hope we get some rain, and lots of it.
Good evening, everyone. It's good to see everybody here, and thanks for your attendance.
I'm glad to see everyone too. You all know what business I'm in, and I like to see it rain too. Thank you.
Not as much as the rest.
Thank you all for being here. Thank you for holding us accountable. Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedules to give back to this great community that we all love. Board, we have attached the draft minutes for review and approval. I'd like to entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Supervisor Emmerich?
Yes.
Mr. Townsend?
Yes.
Ms. Cooper-Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Watson?
Yes.
Mr. Jenkins?
Yes.
Dr. Pry?
Yes,
Mr. Gillen?
Yes.
My vote is yes. At this time, the board would like to welcome our community partner update, the Honorable Mr. Luther H. Cyphers III, Senate of Virginia, District 10.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and members of the board. I just wanted to give a little bit of an update on the 2026 General Assembly session. As you guys may know, the session ended sine die at the end of March. The budget is still being worked out, so there are some things that are still in flux. There's some things that have been signed into law, but a lot of localities are asking for updates. I just wanted to kind of give you guys a little bit of an update. And before I get into the legislation, there were two budget amendments that we carried this year on behalf of Prince Edward County, and I just wanted to update you guys on those. The first was the Sandy River Reservoir Project. I'm sure members of the board obviously know, maybe a lot of the other folks here do, that Prince Edward County entered in good faith into a memorandum of understanding with the state for a water project, invested about $2 million in good faith, and then I think the state kind of left Prince Edward County hanging there. I would like to say there was a substantial amount of concern for that, and there was definitely, the Finance Committee was sympathetic to the issue, and it's something I'm not going to stop fighting for. This is a very tough budget year. As you know, that's why the budget's still in deadlock. So it was very difficult to get budget amendments through, and this one met an untimely fate this year. But we will take another swing at it again next year and try to continue to make that case. The other one was the Mary E. Branch Heritage Center. We asked for $50,000 to kind of take another step at renovating and move this closer and closer to its goal of becoming a community center.
it was another amendment that there was definitely interest in the Finance Committee, but again, like many other bills across the state, it just didn't make it. So made an effort, swung and missed on those two, but we will be, we'll be back with those next year. As far as legislation, I just tried to pick through the things that I thought would be of primary interest to local governments and to rural communities. The first one is solar siting in Virginia. So as you know, the Virginia Clean Economy Act was passed back in 2020. It has required an increasing target of renewable energy generation versus carbon generation, higher and higher percentage. At the same time, Virginia has boomed economically with a lot of that growth coming from data centers. So energy demand has risen substantially. And although like solar installations are on track according to the original growth curve that was expected, demand is up some couple 100%. So we're lagging behind. And I advocated for pushing the dates of the Clean Economy Act out 20 years to kind of adjust for the realities of demand. That failed. Instead, the direction has been to, we know that a lot of our rural communities, there are some solar projects that are being cited because they meet the desires of the community, maybe out of sight or whatever. What the state has passed now, which was signed into law, was essentially removing local discretion for solar siting. So it's kind of by right solar siting. I think the State Corporation Commission will be making that decision as opposed to the locality. So that's something we'll want to be keeping our eye on. Also, as you know, there have been a number of solar sites that have been approved and installed. And those were installed based on and made it through zoning and local approvals based on what they were, solar panels. The problem with having a very high percentage of solar and wind is that when the sun isn't shining and when the wind isn't blowing, you don't have electricity. So the way that you deal with that is by storing the energy during the times that they are producing into batteries, kind of like large lithium batteries, similar to what you would see in electric vehicles. The battery storage effort, not just in Virginia, but really in the world, is still in its fairly early stages. But the decision was made that if a site has already been approved for solar, it is now by right approved for battery storage. That is frankly of grave concern to me and to some others because batteries are substantially more toxic. For example, you may approve a solar site near a water source, but you may not want to approve a battery site near a water source or near a forest because of the kind of out of control fires that can occur. But anyway, those are two things that I think you guys will probably want to be keeping your eyes on. Another bill that passed is called, it was called the Faith and Housing Bill. And what this is it's by right housing development with virtually no restrictions, very few restrictions for any tax-exempt religious organization. So it means if a church has 5 acres and they want to turn that into housing, they can do that and they don't have to meet the local zoning requirements for housing. Interestingly enough, it can also be for profit. So my concern is that you may get the sudden appearance of, Church of the Red Striped Salamander that's making millions of dollars off of circumventing zoning laws. We hope that it won't be abused in that way, but that did make it through the General Assembly, something that you guys will probably also want to have your eyes on. One of the few tax increases that I think I may have been favorable on, had it made it through finance, was the 1% local opt-in referendum for schools. And I want to be clear, most counties in my district would not be good candidates for this. The people live in the county, but they do their shopping elsewhere. So they would be building Chesterfield schools or, someone else's schools. I think for Prince Edward County particularly, it could have been attractive. I think a lot of people that live here shop here and it just kind of works. But that was continued until 2027. I have been back and forth on this bill. I don't like taxes. I think they're a problem, but I feel like we've made some impressive strides with Prince Edward County with the school system. It's an investable resource. It's an important resource, and I know we need funding to make that happen. So as I've offered, I'm more than happy to try to work with the locality as well. If there's a budget amendment, we can carry it some way that we think we can get some state support for the local school system here. I know we need it. But as for now, that bill is continued until 2027. Another bill is statewide paid family medical leave. So this is now, it's already become law, but the payroll taxes don't start coming out of paychecks until 2028. But basically, this would make it mandatory for every employee to pay payroll taxes into a fund. And for most employers, I think there's a cap on how many employees you have to have before the employer has to pay into it. And then that fund would be used to pay for people to be out of work for not just their own medical concerns, but also the medical concerns of family members. On the surface, I think there's some, understandable advantages to it. I think the challenge is, I believe the paid time is something like 12 weeks, or I can't remember the final number, but it's like 12, 16 weeks. I think it's 12 weeks. And as you know, people have the feeling I'm paying into this, I should probably be using it. And what we expect is going to happen is that's probably going to snowball, and what's currently a relatively modest payroll withholding is likely to increase. That's what's happened in other states that have done this. So that's another one that we'll want to be kind of keeping our eye on.
Can I ask a quick clarifier on that one?
Sure.
While we're on it? Is that for state employees alone, or is that for across the Commonwealth?
I believe the state exempted themselves. It's for everybody else.
Ah, okay. Thank you.
Everybody except us.
And look, just incidentally, we probably have small business owners in the room. My concern about these kind of things is these are programs that in many cases large companies already have. So the people who are going to carry the brunt of this are the small businesses. And unfortunately, the reality is that hyper-regulation, the higher regulation gets, it has a monopolizing effect, because the companies that can deal with the compliance and deal with the costs and all that stuff, they're generally your bigger companies that can command a higher price because they've approached monopolization. Small businesses are the ones that unfortunately carry the brunt of a lot of this stuff. The other one, and this one is still being contested, and this is mandatory collective bargaining. So this would open every locality up to collective bargaining without it being adopted by the locality. Just like the paid family medical leave, it's not my job to interpret intent, but what I'll say is a lot of the legislation that has the highest chance of having negative consequences, and action has been delayed until after the next General Assembly elections. And that's what was in, so that's what's in the paid family medical leave, and that's what was in the mandatory collective bargaining. When it got to Governor Spanberger's desk, she then sent it back to the General Assembly. It reconvened, pushing the dates out to after the next gubernatorial election. And the General Assembly rejected those amendments. So now it's back in its original form, and we are waiting to see if the governor will sign it, veto it, or decline to do anything, at which point it will become law 30 days after reconvene. But the challenge here is that other states have done this. We all know that our local budgets are stretched. I mean, there's, increasingly, we're having to take other looks at sources of revenue and property taxes and other things because, and believe me, I'm much more aware of this than I was last time I spoke to you guys. The state is pushing mandates down, and you guys are having to try to figure out how to meet those mandates. So the cost of local government is growing already, and as you know, the cost of living for people is growing as well. So it's a difficult situation. But my hope is that maybe this one will find its way to the veto pile. I have a feeling the general consensus is that it's likely to go into law in its original form, but we'll see about that. So those are the main ones. I'm happy to answer any questions you guys have.
I could keep you here all night.
I've got nothing but time, sir. I don't know about these fine folks, but.
Luther, one quick question. With our election we just had, that has, the Supreme Court has now decided to overturn it. Does the state plan to pay back the locals for the money that we spent to have this?
No, sir. No, there was, I'm sorry.
I have seen the letter that went out from Department of Elections to the local registrars stating they were going to pay. I'll believe it when I see it.
Oh, well, that's
When
new, that's
I
news to
believe it
me.
when I see it, when I see the check, but our registrar is pulling this week, pulling all the information. It costs us about $30,000 approximately to put on the referendum, in part because you have to do the early voting, which means you have to staff it. So, believe me, we'll be making sure that our request for reimbursement will be submitted.
So that is not, that's not information we knew. We actually researched this today. And I couldn't find anything to that effect, but that's good to know. And I know that would be very helpful to local budgets. I mean, I think in the budget, there was something like $5 million set aside at the state level for the costs incurred by the state. But obviously, there's a local component too. So hopefully that will come back to you guys. That would be news to me that.
I'll be glad and I'll share that with you.
$30,000 to Superintendent Jones's budget makes a big impact.
Yeah,
And so it's
absolutely.
frustrating when we have to take the brunt of this election that we all knew was unconstitutional before it was ever administered.
Yeah.
Senator, I just want to say thank you. They've always been really good about answering the phone when you call down there, and you've done a good job of making sure to push back on bills that try to usurp local control, particularly land use control, which I really feel strongly, I think the board does as well, that those decisions are best made at the local level. And I think you share that view.
Well,
And,
Mr. Stanley, you helped me form that view. So some of the early bills that I voted on, it's like, well, if a person wants to do this, they should have the liberty to do it. But then you realize that's not how local government works. And our conversations were part of that. Conversations with others in the district were part of that. But I believe I can say that every single local authority issue this session, I believe I voted against every single one of those that would undermine local authority. And what I've learned more than anything since going into government is the government that matters most is the one that's closest to the people. And that's where the majority of the power should reside, and that's where, when we try to do things on remote control from Richmond or from Northern Virginia or frankly from Washington, D.C., we can never do it as well as the locality can. What I would encourage every one of you as a citizen of Prince Edward County is also that authority as much as possible that it gets pushed back to the citizens, because people know also what's best for themselves and their families. So I appreciate the council and the discussions on that. And to that end, we are between now and the end of this year, we're gathering information for bills. The majority of the legislation that I carried this year was requested by either local governments or people in the district. So if you guys have something that you would like to see, budget amendments, sure, but also legislation. If you see problems, if you see mandates that are driving the cost of local government that just, like from over there, we just can't see, it's just not working, I'm your guy. Particularly if it means freeing up liberty for you guys or for your citizens, for the local citizens here, that's what I went to Richmond to do. So if there's any way that I can help you, please give me a call. Let's talk through it and see what we can do.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you so much.
And with apologies, I'm going to have to go, but I appreciate you guys letting me speak tonight.
I understand. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
At this time, the board welcomes Chelsea White for an economic development update.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Thank you all for allowing me to speak tonight and provide an economic development and tourism update for my department. May is Business Appreciation Month in Virginia, so I'd like to first focus on some recent examples of how Prince Edward County and our Industrial Development Authority supports our local businesses and industries. As the board is aware, Prince Edward County hosts a Virginia Enterprise Zone, which is a partnership between state and local government that encourages job creation and private investment. As the board is also aware, our local zone has been intentionally planned to try to include many of the population centers in the county, including Farmville, Kingsville, Rice, Green Bay, Verso, and Meharon. The annual Enterprise Zone application season wrapped up on April 1st, and as the designated local zone administrator, I have been providing technical support to local businesses in the Enterprise Zone on their applications. I assisted local business owners in Farmville and the county with submitting applications to request hundreds of thousands of dollars in incentive grants from state-based on qualified investments that they made in the zone during the 2025 calendar year. These incentive-based reimbursement grants encourage job creation and private investment in the county. Grant awards will be announced later this year in the summer. This past quarter, I have been coordinating business retention and expansion visits and contact with manufacturing companies in the county. In these meetings, the primary goal has been to learn more about the company, what is currently working well, what the current issues are, plans for the future, and how the county can be a good partner to help bring additional investment and jobs. I also invited key regional and state partners to participate in these meetings to discuss important resources, incentive programs, workforce development support, and grant opportunities that could be of benefit. So far, coordination has included existing companies such as Yak Attack and Paris Ceramics, as well as a new company locating in the county. The local and regional partners who have participated so far have included representatives from Virginia Economic Development Partnership, as well as Virginia Career Works, Virginia Heartland Alliance, and Southside Virginia Community College. I was also able to coordinate a meeting with Dr. Chip Jones and Mr. Jason Lee and a company to discuss potential partnership opportunities that exist with the Prince Edward County Career and Technical Education Center surrounding building a talent pipeline, enhancing skills-based learning, and creating tailored credential opportunities for particular industry sectors. I'm currently finalizing the next set of business retention and expansion visits, as well as the business spotlight schedule for the rest of the year, so there will be further updates to follow. All of the incentive reinvestment grants have been paid out for tax year 2025, with a combined total award being $8,813.80. This year, Sandy River Distillery and Five Pillar Meats were recipients. These grants help support companies as they bring jobs and investments to the county. The IDA recently finalized an equipment loan to Paris Ceramics for $136,910. This loan will allow the company to expand production and hire 2 additional employees. My department in both economic development and tourism in both invest substantial time and energy in our existing business community, and we welcome new ideas on how to serve our local employees better. Now I will highlight a few recent business attraction items and activities. I recently had the pleasure of helping to host VEDP on a tour of available property in the Prince Edward Business Park. I was able to touch on key information particular to the park, such as available usable acreage, water and wastewater capacity, specific information on electric service availability, and target industry that we'd like to attract for the site. This tour provided a good opportunity for the state to become more familiar with the available products or sites that the county has available for marketing. The representatives took our site information back to their colleagues who interface with potential prospects. Their team also gave a presentation at the RIFA meeting held at the Heartland Industrial Park out in Keysville, and I also attended that meeting to hear more about site development opportunities that exist within VEDP. As mentioned during their presentation, the state is in desperate need of larger industrial sites to compete with other states on securing manufacturing projects. There are currently 2 economic development grant applications moving forward to help fund the grading and clearing of 25 acres in the Prince Edward Business Park. One is a Tobacco Commission application, and the other is a VEDP application. They are matching grants with a combined total request of $3,487,260. As you know, 2025 was a fairly busy year for commercial projects in the town and county, and we are hopeful that 2026 will keep us busy. The IDA voted to sell Lot 4A behind Lowe's in the Prince Edward Business Park for 2 separate projects, and they are now finalizing the subdivision and legal land sale documents. Prince Edward County was featured in the April edition of the Business View magazine, and the article was titled "Cherishing the Beauty, Nurturing the Economy," and it focused on the county's historical, recreational, and economic development assets. So please be sure to check it out if you have not done so already. And lastly, regarding economic development, the IDA will hold its next regular meeting on May 22nd at 8 o'clock. Now, finishing up with tourism, the monthly report is listed on page 284 in your packets. We did receive a grant through the Virginia Tourism Corporation for $15,000. And that grant was to support our newest campaign, which is titled Traversing Prince Edward County's Great Outdoors. And so this initiative focuses on expanding the county's digital marketing efforts through a coordinated 6-month campaign using Meta and Google Ads, paired with the development of a MailChimp newsletter system to capture and nurture visitor interest. The goal is to increase overnight visitation and long-term engagement by positioning the county as a destination for multi-day stays while promoting its outdoor recreation, cultural assets, and local businesses. The campaign uses a hub-and-spoke model with Prince Edward County Tourism leading and local partners, including Highbridge Trail State Park, Holiday Inn Express, Sandy River Adventure Park, the Moulton Museum, and downtown businesses contributing to a cohesive visitor experience. Target markets include Northern Virginia, Charlotte, North Carolina, with a focus, Charlotte, North Carolina, with a focus on couples and high-value travelers seeking outdoor and cultural experiences. Also, the next regular Prince Edward County Tourism Council meeting is scheduled for June 17th at 9 a.m. And in this meeting, as well as all the regular meetings, the council will continue to discuss current projects and new tourism promotion initiatives. Thank you again for your time and support, and I will try to answer any questions if you have any.
Any questions? Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yep.
All right, at this time, the board welcomes Mr. Trey Pyle to introduce our first public hearing of the night.
Good evening, Board.
Good evening.
At its April 14, 2026 meeting, the Board approved the amendments to Chapter 70 Taxation and the County Code and add Section 70-7, which creates a separate tax classification for motor vehicles owned or leased by active volunteer members of county volunteer fire departments and rescue squads, and provides authority of implementation by the Commissioner of Revenue and each volunteer agency. Additionally, the board referred to the Finance Committee a request to review tax rate options and bring a recommendation back to the full board. The Finance Committee met April 21st, 2026, and recommended to the board advertising a personal property rate of 1 cent per 100 for the classification of motor vehicles owned by qualifying active volunteer members of county fire departments and rescue squads. At its April 21st, 2026 meeting, the board accepted the recommendation of the Finance Committee and authorized a public hearing on the proposed personal property rate of 1 cent per 100 of assessed valuation. You have the public hearing notice in Section 70-7 for your review. Any questions?
Any questions before we open the public hearing? Seeing none, I will open the public hearing at this time. And it looks like we've got Ms. Puckett going to review the sheet.
There was nobody when I was there.
No one, okay. No, that's all right. Would anyone in the gallery like to speak? Seeing none, we will close the public hearing. I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
A motion to approve as presented. Mr. Emmer?
Yes.
Mr. Townsend?
Yes.
Ms. Cooper Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Watson?
Yes.
Mr. Jenkins?
Yes.
Dr. Pride?
Yes.
Mr. Gillum?
Yes.
And my vote is yes. The motion carries. All right. Mr. Frederick?
Scott.
Okay, good deal.
Good evening, Chairman and Board, County Administrator. I guess, do I get to introduce the public hearing? Is that my?
Yes, please.
Okay, well, if you'll remember back to last month, we, when I requested what we're doing right now, the public hearing, I sort of set the stage by saying that we were going to keep the plan that we already had in place, so we didn't do a work session this year. And then shortly after that, I sent you guys the draft plan with our current priorities and the estimates for each of those priorities updated. So if you'll remember back, I said that our projects that we built last year went slightly over budget, so the reason that we didn't do a work session was we weren't really going to add anything. Kind of let everything normalize for a year, and then if everything goes as expected, we'll be adding priorities again next year in the spring. So I can read through the priorities that we have in place. The first three roads on the list are ones that we actually already built. We just haven't finished closing out the paperwork on them, so they're still on the list. But Rice Creek Road, Route 647, Junction Canal Road, 682, Quail Crossing Road, 611. So those are already built. The first one that we're going to build this year, we're planning to start in the next fiscal year, which will be right after July 1st. Loman Road, which is Route 647. We're going to start on the, it connects to a section that's already been built that's about a half mile off 15, and then it's going to go right to the intersection of Route 630. So since we're building that one this year, I wanted to give you all that detail. The estimate for it is $190,000. And then I'll just read you the rest of the common road names and route numbers as they fall on the list. So after that, in the following years will be Featherfin Road, Route 625, Bell Road, Route 668, Schultz Mill Road, Route 632, East Pamplin Road, Route 703, Mountain Creek Road, Route 628. So that's the plan as it was advertised. And then I think the rest of what you have in your packet is the resolution that will go with it after the board takes action. And I guess that's the best job I think I've ever done introducing public here. I'll turn it over to the chairman at this point.
Thank you. Any questions? Seeing none, we'll open the public hearing. I have no one signed up on the sheet. Would anyone in the gallery like to speak to this question? Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing, and I will entertain a motion.
So moved. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Mr. Emmer?
Yes.
Mr. Townsend?
Yes.
Ms. Cooper Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Watson?
Yes.
Mr. Jenkins?
Yes.
Dr. Pride?
Yes.
Mr. Gillum?
Yes.
And my vote is yes. The motion carries. Thank you,
Chair,
Scott.
may we fire Scott while he's up here and let him go? Sure.
Well, I did come prepared to update the board, but I wasn't going to force that, but I'd be happy to give the board a regular update at the moment.
Please do.
So I guess I was talking to Doug earlier, and he specifically asked me to update on a pipe replacement that we did on Worsham Road, Route 637. We had that advertised to start today. I think it said today in the advertisement, and go through the 16th, but we actually opened the road back up at the close of business today. So the project went very well, and they made great time replacing it. So that road's back open again. The school buses can go through there again. We've been patching throughout the county on primary and secondary roads, just repairing the winter breakup. And then also we have our resurfacing schedules coming. So we've been patching the roads that are specifically on those routes as well. We've been adding stone to our gravel roads throughout the county. We started litter pickup early last week, and we're mowing our secondary roads currently. So we have to pick up the litter, and then within 7 days of picking it up, we mow the road. So the mowers are closely following behind where you see the folks picking up litter. We've cleared some more trees in the median of 460. When I updated last month, we had cleared the west side of the crossover there near the asphalt and concrete plant. They took a slight break from doing that. They disappeared for a week or two, and then they came back and they cleared about 50 more trees that were on the east side of that same crossover. So now it has really good sight distance both directions, and we don't have to, I think I said last month, we used to have to keep going in there and cutting tree limbs back and trying to keep sight distance. It's much easier to maintain now. So that was a good, successful project. Then I wanted to touch base on some of the supervisor comments from last month. Supervisor Watson, you brought up Farmville Lake Road and asked me to take a look at it. And I got traffic engineering to study it. And they actually are going to install the yellow diamond-shaped signs that say "Watch for turning vehicles ahead" on each approach of that intersection.
I figured it would help.
Yeah, so that I'm glad they recommended that. And Supervisor Townsend, you brought up the tree limbs at Verso and 360. My understanding is they've cut those back and those are gone.
Yeah.
And then also patching some potholes on Verso and Mount Pleasant. And I think you told me that the logger left, but it looks like he's just moved to a new site down the road some. But we did do a lot of patching on Mount Pleasant.
Yeah, so that's scheduled to be resurfaced?
No, I think just patched. And we're not done yet. We're still working on it.
But it's done really a good job, and especially at 360 in a Versa intersection.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
well,
they've
thank
done-
you for
done a really
the
good
follow-up
job with
there.
that. But I thought you were gonna resurface the whole Versa Road.
I need to double check to see that it is on, whether or not it is on the surface treatment schedule. There's about 30 miles of it this year, so I don't have it all memorized. It very
You could
well.
use it.
It could use it. Yes, sir.
Stay on in this prize.
I'm looking right at it.
And then also you brought up brush on Route 752, Watson Lake Road, Walton Lake Road. Okay, we took care of that.
Okay.
And then we put some gravel along the edge of the road there at the dumpster site where it always beats up.
Appreciate it.
And then Supervisor Emmerich, you said there was a pothole on Tuggle about the size of my truck hood, I think was how you worded it. But
Was I mistaken or did I underestimate it?
well, I wordsmithed it and I said it was a deteriorated area. But it was actually about 20 feet long where the road is just kind of breaking up in place. But we put a very good patch out
Cost
there.
a $700 light out of there.
A light?
Front end of a vehicle went off in that and broke the light out.
Well, the pothole I saw, I don't know that would do that, but, I mean, we can discuss that at a different time. And I will say that there's a tort claim process, that the driver of that vehicle could, or the owner of the vehicle, if they have evidence, could go through the tort claim process with us. Let's see here. Supervisor Jenkins, he brought up Gully Tavern Road where the snow plow had caused, I'll say allegedly caused some damage. We took a look at that area and been told it's fixed. Oh, okay, I'm sorry. My guys told me they took care of it, so
Good, I've not been down that road since.
Oh, okay, gotcha, thank you.
Check it out.
And then Mr. Supervisor Gilliam, you brought up that ditch on Singleton where the spring is there in the ditch, so the car ran off in it. We sent the grader out there and tried to restore positive drainage there. And then we're still working with Southside Electric on the cedar limbs that were left in the right-of-way there. And then the last thing I wanted to update on was you mentioned a spot on Backhampton Sydney Road there near the town limits where you said it's like a drainage issue. We clipped the shoulder down right there, and now the road drains properly again. So.
No. It was full of water this morning.
Oh, was it?
What they do, they run into water and it splashes it out.
I went through there Monday, and it was lightly.
Looked good Monday.
Yeah. Well, I'll have to take a second look.
One more thing. If you would, the little bridge.
There's a really big pine tree right where I was talking about. Is that the spot? Well, they clipped the shoulder off. I don't know why it would be. It's still holding water. But I will take a second look at that. That's all I came prepared to update on tonight.
Douglas Church Road.
Douglas.
The little bridge in the bottom, the weight limit is very light. And we're-
I know the bridge you're talking about.
We're worried about getting the fire trucks across there.
Okay. How heavy are your fire trucks?
They're over 26,000 pounds
26,000.
when they're fully loaded.
I was thinking that bridge is below that, isn't it?
It's right at 26.
26. I thought it was 10 tons myself.
They,
Yeah, I was thinking that's. Yes, ma'am. That's what I was thinking. It's going to be 10 soon. And I know our bridge office is always working to work on their bridges. I mean, we have a bridge maintenance section, so maybe there's some repairs they can make that can bring the weight limit back up. But, I mean, they inspect them every year for a reason to
that one was
keep them.
damaged last year due to an automobile accident, and they fixed the railing.
Yes, sir.
Scott, is that a request that the county needs to make?
No, we're always doing that, yeah. Well, I don't know the status of the bridge, like, I don't manage that, so to speak, but I can find out and I'll update you next month if they are planning to make any repairs.
Thank you, thank you.
Scott, while you're making notes, where old 460, I guess is what it really is, turns onto Toggle Road, or where the new Toggle Road turns into Old Toggle Road, however you want to say that.
I know where you're talking about.
That sharp corner right there, I'm getting a lot of complaints from the people that live there that, could they do a speed study or something there, or put up some slow down? People don't realize it, come there thinking that road goes straight, and then you have to turn left, and it's, two pedestrians have already complained several times, they've almost been hit there.
Okay.
If you would check it
Some
out.
kind of advanced warning signage, but
Correct,
yeah.
correct.
I'll do the same thing where I'll submit it to traffic engineering and get them to
Thank
look
you.
at it.
And check with Southside, I'm like Lou, all those limbs, I know it's somewhat your job and whatever else, but if you need any help on that, let me know.
Okay, yeah, I will do. I talked to my permits guy who has a lot of contacts with Southside this afternoon after I spoke with you. And after talking to you, I think we have a better communication line going now. We're going to hopefully get it addressed, but if I need to reach out to you, I will.
Call Paul Bennett, he's on the board.
So Scott, one of the, in my talkings with as citizens have called, where it's in somebody's yard, they've been going, send the contractor back out to clean. But I don't think their intent is just along a wooded or field. They're not going to necessarily go back and
Okay, well, I'm going to
clear
try to
all
get
of
them to get it out of my yard, so.
Well, that's what I was going to say. That if it's in your right of way, you're going to
Yeah,
have
exactly.
to. Yeah, push it.
That's not my
It's
job
definitely
to
the right
clean
of way,
it
it's
up.
out on the road half the time, we've already stopped and pulled them out of the road, but they just, every time, now that they're dead, the wind blows, it blows them over in the road.
Yes, sir. And it's not just a couple of them.
No, it's a half
lot
a mile
stuff.
of it there.
Yeah, so we're working on that, but thank you for offering to help.
I call Tracy G.
Yep, I mean, if you have to call, Paul's he's one of the representatives, he's in that, he represents that area.
Okay,
I've got his
gotcha.
number if you need it.
Okay. We'll talk offline.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it, Scott. Thank you.
All right, at this time, the board welcomes Mr. Robert Love.
Yes, Chairman, members of the board, this public hearing is for a special use permit filed by Prince Edward Solar 2 LLC, a subsidiary of New Energy Equity LLC, for the proposal to construct and operate a 3.8 megawatt solar energy facility on a 77.53 acre parcel of land. It's denoted as tax parcel 043-A-36B. It's located on the north side of Lama Road. As soon as you turn onto Lama Road, right off of Thomas Jefferson Highway. This parcel is zoned A1. This use requires a special use permit. This public hearing was properly advertised. We sent letters to adjoining property owners as well as Charlotte County, since this is within a half mile of the county line. The purpose of this is for the location of a solar energy facility. The applicant has proposed the facility will not be seen or heard and will not impact adjacent properties. Stormwater will be addressed by Virginia Stormwater Management. We would be the agency that issued that permit and did those inspections all the way from construction to termination. Planning Commission held their public hearing on March 17th. We had one speaker that spoke in opposition. Several other speakers spoke in support. Planning Commission unanimously recommended approval of the special use permit with conditions. It should be noted, these conditions also included some proffers by the applicant to address that one neighbor. You do have a new site plan that has increased buffers to the west and to the south. That's where the residences that adjoin this. To the north of that is a planned solar site that you've approved, the McClenny site. To the east of that is a under construction, not quite finished site on the known as the Reef Solar Site. So to the north and the east is surrounded by existing small scale solar, and then to the south you've got some neighbors on the other side of the south side of Lama Road. So they did offer that and additional signage. I'd be glad to answer any questions you might have of me concerning this. We did compare this to our current comprehensive plan, and their design does meet the standards that's in that. And that buffer represents what is in the comp plan. Our setback is 75 feet from property lines, but the comprehensive plan recommended 150, and that's what the applicant did agree to on the south and west side.
All right. Thank you, sir. Before we open the public hearing, would Prince Edward Solar 2 LLC like to share with the board?
Good evening, everybody. My name is Jesse Diamond. I am an employee of New Energy Equity, who is the parent company for Prince Edward Solar 2. This is a 3.8 megawatt project, as was mentioned. That's an AC, so that's the amount of energy that goes into the grid. A little bit about New Energy Equity. We're a end-to-end developer. We start with conception for regional areas. We work with landowners. I come before boards as a permitter. We have the ability to build them, maintain them, and operate them. So we are capable of doing all the facets of a small-scale solar project. We have done about 600 million in investment so far and over 500 megawatts of projects. So we are pretty experienced. So a little bit about the project. So again, 3.8 megawatts AC, shared solar, single axle trackers. So it means that when you see them facing north and south, that means that they will track with the sun. If they're facing the other way, they'll be facing towards the sun and they don't rotate. So these will rotate with the sun. Screening on the east side is existing and will face the Reeve Solar project. To the north, we don't have any proposed, but there is another solar project proposed there. Where we did add and are planning to add trees is along the south side, where the neighbor had concerns about their view shed, their property values, and other things that often come up. So we worked with him to have an understanding of what he would need, and we believe that this meets that. We also are filling in a gap on the west side. There's some existing trees, and we'll fill in some of the areas that just aren't doing quite a good enough job with what's existing there. We don't expect any impacts to wetlands. Grading, if you can kind of see where it L's, that area right there might have a little bit of grading. When you're actually physically standing there, it is not as flat as this portrays, but I do think that they'll be able to utilize existing materials on site to grade that, similar to what we did with the Reeve project. Revenues for the county is something that I was hearing about tonight, and I hear about all the time. Shared solar, small projects aren't making or breaking anybody's budget, but they're also single parcel projects. And so when they're built in intelligent areas, I like to think of it as adding to the budget while having a minimal to no impact on your community. And that's one of the reasons that I love community solar. Or here, it's called shared solar. I apologize. It's community solar in most other markets. There will not be any noise to any of the neighboring parcels. With that 75-foot setback, that alone is good enough, but 150 feet on the south side, there will be more than enough. Nobody will be able to hear it from the road or from any residents, even at 100% capacity during the day. And then a little bit about shared solar. When you subscribe to shared solar, you actually save as a subscriber. So I developed some about a mile from where I live. I also participate as a subscriber, and so I save about 10% on my bill. And so, you know, we all have normal extra fees. It doesn't affect those, but if my bill is $100 for the actual electric use, I only pay $90 for it. I don't have to pay anything to join. I don't have to pay anything if I choose to leave that. It's just a program that you can join and save. And so that's one of the really cool things about it. Again, here's a kind of a close-up of those screening areas. 2 rows of trees. At the Planning Commission, we chatted about what types of trees would work well here and not. And so one of the things that we'll do as part of the final building permit process is present a plan of specific trees, locations, quantity, that'll allow a review to make sure that we're putting in the right trees. I'm from Minnesota. My climate is definitely a bit colder in the winter. The trees that we would use there don't necessarily work here and vice versa, so we want to make sure that we're putting the correct trees, and we will make sure that we do that. I touched on shared solar. It was mentioned earlier, it was started in 2020. It's really to benefit and create a little bit of competition in the market. Often you don't get to choose who you have for electrical use. You can produce your own, which has financial implications of being able to participate in that. But generally, if you're most people, you get one carrier that you can get electrical use from, and you pay the rates that they make you pay. This is a small kind of caveat where we can offer up to 3.8 megawatts if this project were approved to citizens, and then they could pay a reduced rate. And so on average, it's about 174 homes per megawatt. I don't have my calculator with me, but if anybody wants to do the math, that's about how many homes would be able to participate on average. We have gone through the diligence of making sure that we're in compliance with the county code. We're not having any impacts on wetlands. The facility is secured by a fence all the way around it. You know, we'll work with the all the local and state agencies to get all the permits. Obviously, after this permit, there's still more to go before we can actually build and operate it, so those are still yet to come. We follow all of the normal fire codes, building codes, as usual. We do have insurance on all of our projects for about $2 million, and we do cover the full estimated cost for decommissioning, which is recalculated every 5 years, so that if we have a big inflation boom, obviously that may go up, and so every 5 years that would be reevaluated. The decommissioning bond is done at about 7.5% over the estimated cost for year one, and then on year 6 it would be reevaluated, and then so on and so forth. A little bit about the economic benefits. Again, generally more tax revenue, permitting fees, and then the siting agreement. All of those benefit your community. Solar projects don't require additional utilities, schools, because they're unmanned, and so they can bring in a little bit of economic benefits to your community through the maintenance of the facility. Construction companies in the area can help us build it, electricians. There's a lot of different small economic benefits to your community. And then the final thing here is landowner rights. Sometimes loud voices can stand out, but one of the things that I don't want to forget is that we are following the rules, and the landowner themselves have rights to do what is within the code. And so I just like to bring that up, is that, you know, I actually met Andrew Elder in Charlotte County randomly when I was working on some other projects. And if I might say, he might be one of the nicest guys I've ever met in my life. And it's personal to me to work with people and follow the rules and help them secure their future. And so this is really important to me. I think about it from raising little girls and thinking about their future, and it's just, I just make it personal. So every project that I do, that's why I only take a handful of them. I really get to know my people. I walk the sites. I make them family. So whether they like it or not, they're family in my book. Safety is always a concern with any new technology. Without zooming in on this, essentially 99% of it is silica glass, and then you basically just have circuitry and rubber inside of it. And so these are extraordinarily safe. They're tempered glass, so if they were to be hit by large hail or a limb or something like that, they don't shatter and go everywhere. They hold together. And so what's in there is essentially a cell phone and then glass. Solar panels have actually gone on reservoirs in some areas. And so some of these have been on reservoirs since 2018. And so they've been testing the water monthly for, what is that now, 8 years? And they have found no contamination from solar panels. These are the same type of solar panels that we're using now. The difference is the technology is getting better. So think about your old computer and your new computer. I mean, even just your cell phone and a computer from the early 2000s, your cell phone is way more powerful. We're finding the same advances in solar panels. And so when I started, solar panels were producing about 300 to 350 watts per panel, and now we're right around 600. So we've almost doubled it just in the 5 years that I've been doing this. Property values always comes up. The internet is full of lots of information. I have found multiple studies that show that it does not have a material impact on property values. I have also read studies where it says that it does. And often in the studies where it says that it does, it's often talking about a broad spectrum of projects. It's looping together projects that are an acre or two and thousands to tens of thousands of acres into one big bucket of anything that isn't residential or on top of a barn is just a commercial installation, and so they're all the same. So often if you dig into those valuation studies, it links all of those together. When you look at single parcel property values, or single parcel solar facilities and the parcels around it, you often find that there is not a negative impact on those parcels. We are the right one, so we are the one that rotates, just to give you a little bit of a view on kind of what that looks like. Here's a couple of our projects. I'll end there. Any questions?
I've got one.
Yes, sir.
You were talking about, like, if your electric bill, you used $100 worth of electricity, you get 10% off on it.
Yes.
Right. News this morning, rates going up because of fuel cost. Do your rates go up just because fuel cost goes up? You're dealing with solar, but does your selling price go up because everybody else went up?
Yeah, so we work with the same rate that everybody's getting for your carrier. So I'll use myself as an example. Excel is my carrier, and if Excel charges $1 a unit or $1.10 a unit, we're all paying the same amount. My discount comes out after that. So without a diversified network, you're going to find that as fuel costs go up, or and fuel costs can be natural gas, and even coal, because you have to transport it. All of those fees will continually rise. Once you put solar in, they've found that bills related to solar projects, actually, it's the cheapest form of electricity that we produce. And I don't think that my project is making an impact large enough to affect everybody's bills. But you can go to Charlotte County next door, and they are putting in very large projects possibly, and those might have a big enough impact to actually possibly keep your rates the same or even lower it, because producing electricity through a renewable source over time saves money.
Paying for the electricity is all right. It's the other $300 you pay for delivery fees and this fee and that fee and offshore wind that doesn't exist.
Yeah, and that is one of those things that is not affected by it. So if you have $50 base fee for other stuff and $100 for your electrical use, you only save $10. You don't save $15. And that's been my experience. So
Based on what you use.
Based on what I use, absolutely.
Thank you.
Of course.
I guess I'm up next. Just one thing, with decommissioning, do you have any idea what the amount would be to decommission this particular project, should we say okay?
I do. Give me just a moment.
Sure.
We estimate that the amount would be $231,123.29.
To decommission this?
Yes.
Is that do you know if that's a percentage of the cost, or do you know how they come up with that?
Yeah, so we have a template that we use to understand your, for example, you have civil infrastructure, structural infrastructure, and electrical infrastructure that needs to be removed and put back to its, a farm field again, so it can be used. So let's say that after 35 years, we have fusion and we no longer need solar, and we can produce power and this is no longer needed. It can go back to farm production, cattle, whatever it may be. Those are the things that we have line items for. I will mention that in this one, it also does cost about salvage values. And so we do have values that do reduce the amount because steel will always have a value. And there's a few things there that will have a value. So that does reduce it down some. And so the amount that we would, that we believe it would be $231,123.29.
How many acres will be under panels?
I can tell you that also. I have learned that as I'm getting older, or as my kids are melting my brain, I don't remember the little details as well. Within the fenced-in area, which is not, it's a little bit more than what's under panel, is 18.36 acres.
$126,000 an acre to decommission, is that what you figured?
Say that again.
I said 12,000. It's gonna cost us more to get the stumps. I'm sorry, I'm talking to the board at this particular time. With figuring that decommissioning amount, it's gonna cost us more to do 5 acres of getting a site ready than it is to decommission this. The math doesn't math. Absolutely impossible to figure in 35 years from now that $200,000 is gonna do 1/3 of this, or 1/5 of it.
And that's why we require them every 5 years to go back, get a third-party engineer to go back and recalculate the number and reset the bond amount. And that we've done on every project, right, Ron? Because we know that the escalation could be much higher
Correct,
than
and that's
CPI.
where, not, this is to the board more at this point. Then we need to figure out what something is to say at the beginning, because we know that's not enough. And with everything that I've read, whatever they put up, whatever interest it draws or whatever else, we get to keep the interest. Is that correct? Is that not what I read? And well, once again, this is a board discussion. I'll be back to you in just a moment.
No, we don't get the interest. They post they can do a cash bond, or they can do basically an insurance bond on it. Doesn't have to be dollars in a bank account per se. If they can go to a surety company to bond it, right?
That's been my experience, that we've bonded most of these.
I realize that is one of them, but I was reading today in maybe not this particular one, but if a cash bond is put up, that all the interest goes to the county. I'll have to find that in a few minutes, but I didn't write all my notes down earlier today. One quick thing, I guess, to you, sir, on page, I guess we're on page 100 of what I have. I don't know if it's what you have or it's what everybody else has, but on page 100, number 39, I brought this up one time before, maybe more than once, but I know in one of our other ones, that any change of party responsible for decommissioning or change in the party of the contact information should report the county administrator within 60 days. Once again, I'd say to the board, we're going to allow a company to change hands, and they're going to give 60 days before they let us know who they are.
Can I answer that? Happens all the time. Frank gets sold, they let us know they've changed hands.
How long has it been since they changed hands?
Within 45 days.
Correct, which is, what I'm getting at is, this is talking about decommission and everything else, we're gonna give them 60 days just to come back and say, hey, we've changed hands.
Other sites have been sold already in the county. I want to let you know that.
I understand, what I'm saying is we need to make that a whole lot shorter. If this changes hands, there's no reason why 2 days after it changes hands, they can't call Doug and say, hey, this thing's been sold. If you go on down, if I'm not mistaken, it's on 100, page number 42, let me see what yeah, the amount of the shortage shall be 100% of the estimated decommissioning. So I guess that's up to us to figure out.
What we do is we have an engineer review their estimate. So that in effect becomes whether we accept it or not.
On this one and future, and nothing I can do about the past, but I'd certainly like to know how much that is on every one of them, and $200,000 won't do it. It won't decommission, 200,000 won't decommission anything, much less getting rid of them, whatever. And I realize that whoever decommissions it has the ability to sell this. I've been in the scrap business 20-some years, I understand. But that doesn't guarantee me, because that moves up and down every day. So for me to say steel's gonna be worth $13, which it is actually today, 1 month ago it was worth $6. So it was half price at that particular time. I can't, it's gotta be more surety. I'm talking to the board once again. It's gotta be more surety to the board or to the county, whatever else, because if you read on down, if they decide to not do this, it's up to the county to do it. I mean, all these things say they have to, but then we give them an out saying that if you don't, then the county will, and then we'll come back and require you to pay.
I think you can address both these concerns. You could say, I want to know within 15 or 30 days, and you could say, we want a 200% of the estimated decommissioning cost. Those are things that you as the board can put into that permit.
That's where I would be on any of them. I'd say the board, once again, sorry, I realize we're back and forth between the board and you also. The buffer between the highway and the neighbors, we are saying to people driving down the road, I'm on page 94G is where I am. We're saying people down the road that we're going to give them 1 year after this becomes operational. So if it takes them 3 years to get it operational, then people driving up and down the road, we're going to have to look at this for 3 or 4 years or however long. And then, hey, guess what, neighbors? We're going to give you 5 years. So the people driving by that may drive by at one time only has to look at it one time, but the neighbors have to look at it for 5 years. I read that right?
You want to read that right, because Thomas Jefferson is a scenic byway. That's why your comprehensive plan has statements to protect the scenic byway, Thomas Jefferson specifically.
Correct, and our plan should certainly be to protect the neighbor of this more so than the scenic byway of people just driving by. We're giving them 5 times as long, and we're doing it after it becomes operational, not when it becomes a construction site. So it's up to the board as to how we see this, but I mean, I can tell you from experience, be glad to go pull it if we need to, but experience is that if you're a contractor or whatever else and you leave stuff there for more than 180 days, 180, not 1 year, from the time that you start the project, the county can come out there and tell you what to do. We're giving them a year after it becomes operational. And 5 years to your neighbor. I have 30 days for my neighbor. Is that what it calls for, Robbie?
Well, that doesn't mean that's not a planning time frame. That's to let the trees mature. That's what that one was intended. That was a recommendation and agreement from them with the planning commission. So plantings will occur as soon as the fencing is done. It just allowed the tree to grow. That doesn't mean 1 year to put trees in the ground. I want to be clear on that. That's an additional, it's an additional step if you look at number C and D, it talks about the plantings. That plantings get done at construction.
Before you finalize the project.
That's what.
But not when they start moving dirt or they move in.
No, sir, that's correct. Once they get the fencing in, and then they get the grade set, then they can do the plantings of trees after that. This is them saying they're gonna plant a fast growing tree. That's what was the intent of it. Is that your remember, Mr. Gilman?
Yeah, with no loblolly pines.
No, all the time. That's what you said. That's a good rule right there. I just want to be clear with that.
I understand, I'm just saying to the board, you're giving the people that live beside this, you'll have to look at this for 4 years or 5 years before it has to be that, whereas the scenic byway has 1 year. That's as unfair can be, in my opinion. That's purely my opinion.
And again, I think that could be a friendly amendment, change that to say 1 and 1, if that's what you wanted to do, or.
Let's
To
hold on to
equalize
that
those two.
thought. Do we have any further questions before we open up the public hearing? All right. At this time, let's go ahead and open the public hearing. I have one Mr. Andrew Elder signed up to speak at this time.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen of the board and the public. My name is Andrew Elder. I live on 47 Lumber Road. My wife prepared a speech for me, so. I would like to say I appreciate your consideration of this project and allowing me to speak on its behalf. We look forward to working with New Energy Equity in Prince Edward County and all that we will be involved in the construction of this project if approved. We have enjoyed working with the team for the Reeves Solar and upcoming McClenny project. We would like to say we have total respect for all the team of the Reeves Solar project that has entered our property. This team has worked hard in all elements from the start from February of last year. They have been very professional and respectful entering, work, and leaving our property. We would like to say, as this project is wrapping up, and from the outside looking in, the project has seemed to go well. The smooth process and knowing that this benefits our neighbors, community, and Prince Edward County makes us very glad to possibly be part of this effort. To see the Reeves project almost complete and the panels up has made us proud that we have witnessed this come to completion. This solar farm is a peaceful addition. This is the reason we are in favor of the solar addition to the property. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you for your time, sir. I have no one else signed up. Would anyone from the gallery like to speak? Yes, sir.
My name is Stan Smith. I've been in the electrical industry for 60 years. And I would like to say that I object to federal mandates which require green energy. These mandates trickle down through our governmental systems and cause all of us to pay the price. Who in here gets an electric bill? Everybody, including the county. Have you looked at that bill lately? Have you looked at it? I mean, really looked at it. Folks, we are paying for all this. We're paying for it. And I could argue to you, because we're paying for it, that it's a tax. It's not called a tax, but that's essentially what it is. And I hope you just stop. And I'm not talking about this particular project, sir. This is much broader view than this one project. This is all this wind and solar, all this stuff. This is ABB, this is the largest electrical company in the world. So I'm saying that to get some sense of respect from you, for my opinion. Leave the energy production to the professionals. That's all. Concentrated, efficient. This thing of dancing around with green energy, it's a dead end, folks. It's a dead end. Wake up and smell the coffee, because it evidently is not going to go away until we realize what we're doing here. And we're all paying for it. Go home tonight, well, maybe not tonight, but tomorrow, pull your electric bills out and look at the bottom lines. You'll see them. They're there. And I think you'll, begin to change your mind on some of these things. It's a long process. I know it's not going to end here. But please just do that. Just go home and evaluate what you're spending on your energy. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you. Would anyone else from the gallery like to speak during this public comment? Seeing none, we will close public comment and return to board discussion.
I knew that I hadn't lost my mind. Page 101, 43A. Cash bond shall be in the form of cashier's check or certified deposit by the county, which is cleared all issuing institutions. Any interest accruing on such fund shall be added to the total amount and retained by the county.
So you got A, you've got B, which is irrevocable letter of credit, or you have C, which is a surety bond.
Correct.
So you've got three options.
But what I said was, if it's a cash, the interest rate goes to the county. And everybody seemed to think that it wasn't in there, but it's definitely in there. It's in there.
I don't think we've had that happen yet. Yeah.
Making everybody did or not approve it. It's in there. So we already know from that if it's a cash bond, any of that interest is going to go to it because it's going to take more than that. For me personally, 200% would not be enough, but it would certainly be a start. And the one-on-one, I certainly don't. I'm not going to say to the neighbor that you have to wait 5 times as long to not see this as a person driving down 47, even though it is a scenic bypass and yada, 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 yada. You might pass it one time in your life and not even know what it was, but the people that are living there, if they live very long, are going to live by it however long they live. I certainly would give the same credence to them. That's just my 2 cents worth on those. And as you all very well know, I had about 15 minutes to read this, so y'all could be in trouble, and I'll leave it at that.
My position on this question is going to be consistent with my prior votes on utility scale solar and with the concerns that I have repeatedly raised about these projects based on a simple principle. The principle which I hold is this: the good government should not pick winners and losers. I do not believe utility scale solar in Prince Edward County is merely a private land use question. These projects exist within a larger state-created energy framework. Utility scale solar requires energy costs for all of our citizens to go up to meet radical climate standards. These radical climate requirements have been legislated through acts like the Virginia Clean Economy Act and the Regional Greenhouse Gas Initiative, costing Virginians millions and millions of dollars. The Virginia Clean Economy Act requires Dominion Energy to move towards 100% carbon-free electricity by 2045, and policies such as RGGI, as it is known, have added additional carbon cost pressure to the grid. These goals are not ordinary free market decisions. They are political mandates imposed on the energy market, costing Virginians millions of dollars. These pieces of legislation put radical constraints on our energy providers, pressuring them to make decisions that are economically outrageous in order to produce Democrat-compliant energy. Developers receive contracts, landowners receive lease payments, local governments may receive tax revenue or other financial benefits, but the people ultimately bear the cost through their electric rates. That may not be a direct tax, but it is still a government-created transfer of wealth through a regulated monopoly system. The county, the developer, and the participating landowners all receive financial benefits, but those benefits are enabled by a state-mandated energy regime that pushes costs onto ordinary electric customers. For these reasons, I am in opposition to this project.
This is not a utility scale project though, right?
It is, if you go back and read the very first part of this, if you read the very first part of this one, it specifically says it's utility scale. Please don't make me go back and find that in this length of time.
I thought this was what they call community solar, or, it's called shared solar. Shared solar.
Does it feed the grid?
It feeds,
The local grid.
local distribution, not transmission. We'll get back to a three-phase, pole.
Which somewhere in here, it has a little bit to do with that. It's very gray, murky water too, but.
Do we have further board discussion? Otherwise, I would entertain a motion.
I've been waiting for one that didn't have water all over the property. It's close, but it's not affected at all from what I see on this map. So that's one little plus that I like. Everything else we've had is incorporated every stream, every creek, every waterway, all the way around it. And water is one of our most valuable resources. So I'm glad to see one that doesn't.
Upon the planning commission's recommendation, I move that we accept the solar project.
Second. Just a point of clarification, are we going with the conditions as recommended by the planning commission, or do y'all want to accept any amendments from Supervisor Emmert relative to the 3 items we discussed?
I would like to ask Robbie, with what David was talking about, with the 1 versus 5, different materials using to get to the buffer for 1.
That was his proffer.
You understand what we're talking about? It's like the scenic byway needs to be protected within 1 year of being able to see it, but the neighbors within 5 are, is it, what is the difference in the buffer plannings or what?
Yeah.
How do we achieve that?
Absolutely. So you can go all the way from a couple of cent little sapling to a fully grown tree when you're installing. So from a financial feasibility, trying to be reasonable to our costs, trying to keep them down, that was my intent. But if it's the board's wishes to make them both a year, we'll have to figure that out.
And when you start construction, the exterior berm where the planting will be is outside of the fence. You will work on that first and get all of that done before you work inside to build the panel?
Yeah, wording would be, I don't know how you would exactly word it, but obviously when we start putting in the equipment, we generally put a fence around that before we're complete. And so does that happen You know, you have to grade the site if there's any grading, and then you have to get the equipment dropped off. Generally, after you put the pillars into the ground, generally you should be able to put up the fence then. And so I don't know if it's possible to word it that, you know, within 6 months of starting construction, you must have the fence built and trees planted. So that then you can, you know, let's say it does happen like the Reeve project that started in February of last year, so it's been going on for more than a year, you would have, you know, only a 6-month lag versus possibly a year lag.
Just the only thing I would add is that when you get, you know, June, July, August, September, it's awful dry. And
Sure.
whatever you plant, you're gonna lose half of it.
Okay.
I'd almost rather you wait till October when it's prime planting season and get trees that are actually gonna survive a couple growing seasons and establish that buffer. If we limit you and shoehorn you into saying you've gotta put it in the ground, at the end of the day, I don't think we're going to be as successful as we want to be. I like the idea of having it established within a year, or whatever that time frame is, but give you a little bit of flexibility. Robbie's not going to sign off on it until everything's in place.
The other thing about that, we will do stormwater on this, and Mr. Gillum, Supervisor Gillum, this will have to be engineered and go through a standard construction sequence that meets air standards, which are DEQ standards. So I can't tell you what day from the time they come on site till when we get to, because we have to do temporary stabilization around that fencing once it's put in. Then we have permanent grass, and then they typically put those trees in right then and then do some back seeding. I don't know if they'll do hydroseed like one of our other sites have. It depends on what type of, or whether they do plant mix. I really don't know at this point. That's something we would handle through the site plan process. I think the main thing is, as Supervisor Everett was talking about, the timeframe for the trees to screen. If you have that as a year from operation, that's a pretty tight timeline. To get them there and get them
We have a motion on the floor with a second. Supervisor Cooper-Jones, do you accept the amendments
I
from
do.
Supervisor Emmert? Okay.
And if I just want to clarify for the record, that would be to change on page 94, G, from 1 year of the site being operational, adjacent neighbors within 1 year. On page 100, to go, on paragraph 39, to go from 60 to, you want 15? 15 days, and on paragraph 42, it'd be 200% of the estimated decommission.
That's on number 42. That's on page 101.
All right, very good. We have a motion properly seconded. Supervisor Emmert.
I'm a no.
Supervisor Townsend?
Yes.
Supervisor Cooper-Jones?
Yes.
Supervisor Watson?
Yes.
Supervisor Jenkins?
Yes.
Dr. Pride?
Yes.
Supervisor Gillum?
I'll go yes.
And my vote is no. The motion passes 6-2.
Thanks, David. That's the big part of it.
And I'll just ask Robbie, we'll try to incorporate that moving forward on our
On all.
new
Yes, sir.
applications.
We'll make that part of our template.
All right.
Thank you all for the input on that. You always make our template better. The second land use public hearing is related to this. This is a siting agreement component of this project. Prince Edward Solar 2 LLC, a subsidiary of New Energy Equity, has submitted a siting agreement. They submitted it to the county administrator for his review related to this project we just discussed, a 3.8 megawatt solar energy facility. Pursuant to 15.2-2316.AB of the Code of Virginia, the host locality shall host a public hearing for the purpose of consideration of the siting agreement. This siting agreement includes an upfront voluntary payment based on $25,000 per megawatt of $95,000, plus an annual payment of $1,540 per megawatt and escalates at a rate of 10% every 5 years. Note that this does exclude the land value, which is currently agricultural, that would change to a commercial or industrial use rate instead of the agricultural rate. This has been properly advertised, adjoining property owners in Charlotte County has been notified. I've had no comments from the public on this matter. I'd be glad to answer a question if you have of me.
Probably, you've probably answered this before, and I'm kind of like everybody else, my brain isn't working.
Yes, sir.
But this is the land use, the land tax value is only what's inside the fence as far as commercial, is that correct?
That is correct. You got the commissioner that can echo that. I think last time you had that question, she wasn't here.
That is accurate.
That's, so.
It's not on the.
Even though it's 75 acres and they can't do anything else with the land that's around it, it will only be what's in the fence, correct?
What is fenced in, yes, sir.
And that's according to state, is that correct? Can anybody?
That's state land use, isn't it?
I'd have to look.
Because I know the owner intends to still farm the rest of the property. Do know that much.
I mean, I'm kind of new to the whole solar portion, but,
Me too.
I have that information in my office, but he is accurate as far as it just being that industrial, commercial for what is actually fenced in for the site.
Not what's under, but what's fenced in.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And that typically exceeds what's under panel, sir.
Correct.
Any further questions for Mr. Love? Seeing none, we will open the public hearing. I have no one signed up to speak. Would anyone from the gallery like to speak? Seeing none, we will close the public hearing. And at this time, I will entertain a motion.
Move that we approve the citing agreement.
Motion and a second. Mr. Emmert?
I'm a yes on the citing agreement because it requires more stringent than so, just so no one thinks I'm double standarding.
Mr. Townsend?
Yes.
Ms. Cooper-Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Watson? Yes. Mr. Jenkins?
Yes.
Dr. Pride?
Yes.
Mr. Gillum?
Yes.
My vote is yes. The motion carries.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, this next public hearing concerns the erosion sediment control and stormwater management ordinance. Our current ordinance is out of date. I remember last spring I brought to y'all a draft. At that time, I became aware that the town of Farmville had interest in creating their own stormwater program, so we kind of waited for them to go through the requisite state approval so they could do that. They have voted, and they are doing their own stormwater now already. Formerly, they did their ENS, and we did the storm only. So now they're doing their own ENS and storm with their staff. So what staff used, we used I obtained the model ordinance from the state of Virginia for this. And this draft removes the town of Farmville from our coverage area, since they are covered by themselves. The existing separate ordinance, the way it was prior, the state had the ENS side and the storm side, and we did too, but they have consolidated that under the consolidation bill, which the State Water Control Board approved, and in July, it became effective July 1st, 2024. This draft ordinance intends to repeal, reenact, and recodify to create the erosion and stormwater management ordinance. I'd be glad to answer any questions you might have of me on this.
Any questions for Mr. Love?
For clarity, we do run our own local program. Myself, Trey Powell, and so also Philip Moore are trained as inspectors. I'm the administrator. We intend to have all of our staff certified to be able to manage this program. This enables us to greatly reduce the time that a project can go from approval to turning dirt. My best case scenario was a 0.98 acres, so that's under an acre, it was an ENS only project for Hampton Sydney. From the time they submitted to us to the time they were moving dirt they had approval to move dirt, was 18 calendar days. Typically with the state of Virginia, you've got a 45-day window to get a review. We just for another example, we turned in yesterday the comments for the scale house to our engineer. We use Hurt and Profit for a high-level engineering because I don't have an engineering degree. And our engineer, Andy Klepak, turned those comments back to us this afternoon. So we had comments back in less than 24 hours. That's what we do for our businesses. That's what I pitch to them when they come here, that we can get you started and get your business up and running quicker than anybody around us. The town of Farmville wanted to do this so they could dedicate their staff to, some of their public works staff for this reason. This can help us move projects ahead of other counties around us. We're leading, we're able to control our own destiny and control our own growth. As soon as you get a project done, they full tax base.
Excellent. Thank you. Any questions? Seeing none, we will open the public hearing. No one has signed up. Would anyone from the gallery like to speak? Seeing none, we will close the public hearing. At this time, I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second, with just one thing with our recommended motion, that they approve the ordinance, do we not also need to say that we need to, yes, I know we need to reenact it, but don't we need to get rid of the one we have? Repeal. So we need to add to that motion. Ms.
Yes.
Jones, is that all right with you?
Yes.
That it is to repeal, reenact, and recodify?
Very good. Mr. Emmerich?
Yes.
Mr. Townsend?
Yes.
Ms. Cooper-Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Watson?
Yes.
Mr. Jenkins?
Yes.
Dr. Pride?
Yes.
Mr. Gillum?
Yes.
My vote is yes. The motion carries.
Okay. Mr. Chairman, members of the board, the last public hearing I have before you is to repeal Chapter 26 cemeteries of the county code. At the April 14th, 2026 meeting, Board of Supervisors accepted a recommendation from Ordinance Committee. I failed to mention that last time. Previous ordinance did go through Ordinance Committee. Thank you all for that. This section of ordinance predated county zoning. Quite frankly, it probably should have been removed when county zoning was adopted. Just one of those outlying, outdated laws that is superseded by zoning. So it really doesn't have the emphasis of law like it has now because zoning governs cemeteries. So this is an opportunity to remove something from the books that really is no longer needed. I'll be glad to answer any questions.
No, thank you for your proactiveness on this issue. The ordinance committee is excited to work on things like this, and you've been a great help to us, so thank you for that. Any questions for Robbie? Seeing none, we'll open the public hearing. No one has signed up to speak. Would anyone from the gallery or on the line like to speak? Seeing none, we will close the public hearing. I will entertain a motion.
I move that we approve the ordinance to repeal Chapter 26 of the cemeteries of the Code of Virginia.
I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second. Mr. Emmer?
Yes.
Mr. Townsend?
Yes.
Ms. Cooper-Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Watson?
Yes.
Mr. Jenkins?
Yes.
Dr. Pride?
Yes.
Mr. Gillum?
Yes.
And my vote is yes. The motion carries. Welcome back, Trey.
Thank you. At its April 14th, 2026 meeting, the Board of Supervisors accepted the recommendation of the Ordinance Committee and authorized a public hearing prior to considering the repeal and reenactment of Chapter 30 civil emergencies of the county code. I myself reviewed the civil emergencies and recommended to the committee to repeal the original ordinance in its entirety, as much of it is now obsolete and has been absorbed into the operating procedures of the county's emergency operation plan. Also recommended the reenactment of an updated ordinance to bring the county code into agreement with Chapter 44-146.13 of the Code of Virginia, also known as the Commonwealth of Virginia Emergency Service Disaster Law of 2000. Section 15.2-1427 of the Code of Virginia directs that an ordinance may be repealed in the same manner in which the ordinance was adopted. Attached for the board's consideration is a draft ordinance to repeal and reenact Chapter 30 civil emergencies of the county code. Attachments to public hearing, the draft ordinance, and the current civil defense and emergency preparedness ordinance from 1981. Glad to answer any questions.
This is the time where you make the 1981 jokes at me.
Before you were around, I'll go ahead.
Any questions for Trey? Seeing none, I will open the public hearing. No one has signed up to speak. Would anyone from the gallery like to speak? Seeing none, we will close the public hearing. I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Mr. Emmer?
Yes.
Mr. Townsend?
Yes.
Ms. Cooper-Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Watson? Mr. Jenkins.
Yes.
Dr. Pride.
Yes.
Mr. Gillum.
Yes.
And my vote is yes, the motion carries. Welcome, Sarah.
Thank you. On page 193 is information regarding the repeal of Chapter 58 of the County Code Health and Sanitation, which was enacted in 1941.
A little bit old.
This is the part where no, I'm not.
That's worse than the mobile home sticker.
So at its April 14th meeting, the board accepted the recommendation of the ordinance committee and authorized a public hearing for tonight for the consideration of the repeal of Chapter 58, Health and Sanitation. As you will see in your board pack, we did have Dr. Allman and her staff review this ordinance, and their opinion was that it could cause confusion as food regulations are now covered by the Virginia Code and by the Virginia Administrative Code, and so the Piedmont Health District did recommend or support also its repeal. And the county ordinance was originally adopted in 1941 and has no references to subsequent amendments. So following the public hearing, the board will wish to consider the draft ordinance to repeal Chapter 58, Health and Sanitation.
Very good. Thank you. And on behalf of the ordinance committee, thank you for all of the work behind the scenes that you were doing to help us get the books cleaned up. And Trey also for that last one, for your help in getting us streamlined and up to date. Thank you. Any questions for Sarah? Seeing none, we will open the public hearing. No one has signed up to speak. Would anyone from the gallery like to speak? Seeing none, we will close the public hearing. I will entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Mr. Emmert?
Yes.
Mr. Townsend?
Yes.
Ms. Cooper-Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Watson?
Yes.
Mr. Jenkins?
Yes.
Dr. Pride?
Yes.
Mr. Gillum?
Yes.
And my vote is yes, the motion carries. That concludes our public hearings for this evening. Go ahead,
And I'm
Trey.
back. All right, item number 12 on your agenda, attached to the board's consideration is a draft policy for administration of the county incentives provided to qualified members of the county volunteer fire departments and rescue squads. The policy outlines the eligibility, definitions, and point systems of the incentive program to qualify for the personal property tax exemption set forth in section 70-7 of the county code. A couple things to note. Originally, the policy included separate dollar amounts on the value of the exemption for active volunteers versus active auxiliary or administrative members. But as the finance committee's recommendation for the tax rate at 1 cent, it eliminated the need for this different qualification. Due to that, we have changed the incentive value for volunteers and administrative members to the same points now. So this point system, we've equalized that out, so everybody has to get the same amount. Again, annually, the board must set the rate for the tax classification, so the board can also choose to review the administrative policy, as it does not require a public hearing. As this is the first year of implementation, staff recommends at the end of 2026, the Public Safety Committee review the outcome of the program and determine if any changes may be warranted for 2027 in order to meet the program goals. Your strategic plan target area is public, safe, and healthy, ensure response coordination, coordinated emergency and supportive services, enhance first responder volunteer recruitment and retention. Your draft policy is there and the sample spreadsheet, and I'll be glad to go over any of those y'all may have questions about, if you have a question.
Thank you. Any questions? Barring none, I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Mr. Emmert?
After reading this, I must say I have a conflict of interest with that, so I can't vote.
All right.
Yes.
Ms.
Yes.
Cooper-Jones? Mr. Watson?
Yes.
Mr. Jenkins?
Yes.
Dr. Pride?
Yes.
Mr. Gill?
Lou can't either.
Very conflict. Okay. And then my vote is yes. So the motion carries 6-0.
Thank you, board.
Yes, sir. Thank you, with two abstentions. All right, Finance and Human Resources Report, Ms. Cheryl Stimson.
I didn't realize I was read it.
Good evening again, members.
Good evening.
Good evening.
So my first topic is our FY27 health insurance. As you are aware, the staff budgeted and the board approved a 10% increase for the health insurance for 2027. As we had previously discussed, due to significant increases in pharmacy and medical claims over the past year, the approved increase is not sufficient to cover projected costs under the county's self-funded plan. One Digital, which is our county health insurance consultant, reviewed claims and provided several renewal options. There's 4 options that she gave us, and the first one is not to increase the employee share, but to increase the employer share by 24.6%. The next one was to increase the employee share by 5% and the employer share by 23.7%. Employee share increase of 7.5% and employer share 23.3%. And the fourth option was to increase by the employee share by 10% and the employer share by 22.8%. Under each of these scenarios, the overall cost increase remains significantly higher than the 10% budgeted and does not adequately align projected revenues with anticipated claim costs. At staff's request, One Digital developed an initial option to help mitigate costs by introducing a higher deductible plan, which would be the Key Care 1000 plan. Employer share increase would be 4.8%, and the employer share would be 20.4%. Under this scenario, the base plan provided at 100% county cost would shift from the Key Care 500 to the Key Care 1000, while maintaining the Key Care 300 and Key Care 500 as buy-in options. We are seeking board guidance on the preferred approach, and based on discussions with One Digital, it is likely that movement toward a higher deductible base plan will be necessary in future years if current cost trends continue.
Are those the numbers indicative of the name, indicative of the amount of the deductible?
Yes, sir.
So you're pushing everybody to the higher deductible plan.
Which is 1,000.
I think the reality is, whether we go there this year or not, we're going to end up there very soon. 23%, talking to a lot of other localities, they've been hit. And the reality is, it's pharmacy. Pharmacy is 40+% of our cost. It used to be probably 15%. And some of that, the Ozempics of the world, expensive drugs are driving it. But we are certainly not alone. The difference is we're self-funded and we can make some decisions on our level. I think the bottom line, we added the lower deductible plan to keep it affordable for our employees. I think that's important because that's right. So that again, if they want to buy up, if they want to stay on the 500, you're going to buy up even at the single only. So that hopefully over time will push people to the higher deductible plan, which will save us money in the long run, but it'll be at the employee option versus us taking away the plan altogether, I guess.
Absolutely.
Mr. Chairman, just information for folks that are here. Yesterday, my Ozempic cost me $598 for 90 days. In January, it cost me $1,055.
So maybe prices are coming down.
It's getting worse.
You said 1,000 in
You went from
January?
500 to 1,000.
I went from $1,055 down to $598. So I've got $1,600 invested in one medication for
Yeah.
6 months of this year so far on Medicare with the supplement. It's ridiculous.
It is absolutely ridiculous.
What? So what are we thinking here?
I think the two options we gave you is either option 4 or option 5. Option 5 provides that higher, the higher deductible plan.
And the employee was going to increase 5%, so to speak.
If they're staying on the existing plan, it's going to increase a lot more than that because they're all of a sudden, they're going to start, like on the 500 for the solo, you're going to start paying $49.29 a month. So that's going to be a much steeper increase if they stay there.
It's worth stating to the gallery and reminding all of us what the employees were paying pre-Doug Stanley era and what they're paying now.
Family coverage was $1,400 plus. And, you know, we've been able to keep it. We've been really fortunate. The last 5 years, we've been averaging less than 3% increase per year. We've been in really good shape.
We actually had a decrease one year.
They got a big decrease though, right?
Exactly, yes.
So, yes. If you look at the last page of this particular agenda summary, it shows you how much we've spent for payroll, for health insurance, and how much we've spent for the pharmacy and medical and dental fees, and our fees for the services.
Your pharmacy almost hits medical.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
What are the fees, just because I'm wondering? Do we know what that,
It's various fees for the services that we receive from Anthem. And they could be quite costly because of some of our claims being so high.
I just wondered, because that's $209,000.
It is.
You're going to have that if, you know, if we switch to
Oh,
Centera.
I just
They're gonna
wondered
hit you.
what. I think that a lot of times, and this would be to whoever works there and whoever doesn't, whoever ever thinks to or whatever else. Every job, part of this needs to be looked at as part of your salary, because that's, for those of us that are self-employed, we can't absorb that any kind of way, no matter what you do. It's just what it is. And people that work for the county or state or whomever don't realize that some people gripe about their salary or whatever else, not realizing when you start adding all this up, it greatly increases your rate per hour or whatever else. And that's, thanks for what you do. I mean, what we have done in the past, but it's going to start costing more just simply because it costs more.
In history of my business, every year it goes up, to the point that then you just got to go out and shop and try to find something you can afford anymore. It's just what they do.
So you think if we go, go ahead. If we go to option 5, you think most people will, what's your thoughts?
I think option 5, and if you look on page 213, you can look down the kind of bottom right corner down there. So, you know, the employee only would cost them 0. I think if you're, let's say you're a sheriff deputy and you're younger and you don't have a lot of health issues, you're going to take the base plan, and you're not going to pay up $49.29 to go to the $500, $89.58. You're going to take that base plan. So I think you're going to see quite a shift. You're obviously going to have folks that have some medical issues, and they're probably going to stay up at the $300 or $500, but they're going to be paying more to keep that benefit, which keeps their deductible down. And then you've got people, I think, you know, I think still the family coverage on the 1,677 at $729 a month for the 500. Those are still affordable for them to, and pretty close to where we've been for the last 5 years. When you say, Cheryl?
I would.
Yeah.
And even your family at any of the other plans is still reasonable for people.
Yeah.
Family is husband, wife, and one child, or does it break?
Any.
Any. That's what I thought.
Yeah.
Which is a racket all in itself, but anyway.
The fortunate part, usually, and I'll say the usually is those kids are not the ones racking up these,
Correct.
especially the pharmacy charges. But I mean, you will have a one-off where special circumstance.
So option B on the table gives Key Care 1,000 as the opportunity for an employee to opt in to a higher deductible to keep them
Keep their monthly costs down.
I'd make a recommendation for option 5.
Or option B
Well,
among the recommended sample motions
Yes,
to approve option 5.
correct. To
I
approve
second
option.
that.
We have a motion and a second. Mr. Emmert?
Yes.
Mr. Townsend?
Yes.
Ms. Cooper-Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Watson?
Yes.
Mr. Jenkins?
Yes.
Dr. Pride?
Yes.
Mr. Gillum?
Yes.
And my vote is yes. The motion carries.
Good work on that. I mean, I know it's tough, but
Very tough.
y'all are making the right,
We're trying to-
careful consideration.
we're trying to do the right thing for everybody, including the county, and save people money. The next item up is authorize a public hearing for a one-time bonus. When Senator Cyphers was here, he didn't mention this, but the 2026 session of the General Assembly has approved under HB 29, the Caboose Bill, which contains amendments to the current Commonwealth budget for FY '26, a one-time 2% salary bonus for the following full-time employees and officers applicable to the County of Prince Edward, constitutional officers, and their compensation board-funded deputies and employees, payable on or about June 30, 2026, based on salary amounts on June 1st, 2026. As you're aware, the FY '26 budget does not include a 2% bonus payment for all county employees and officers, to include those not covered by the comp board and both full and part-time. In accordance with Code of Virginia, Section 15.2-1508, as amended, the bonuses must be approved by ordinance, which requires a public hearing. Attached for the board's consideration is the draft ordinance, which the board will wish to authorize for public hearing at its June 9th, 2026 meeting. Approximate cost is $156,622. About $56,069 will be reimbursed by the comp board.
And you said before, the deputies don't know that they don't know if they're comp board funded or not.
Nobody.
And including like in Bristol's office, you have some county-only positions and you have comp board positions.
Yeah, I have, like I have 3 that I know are fully funded by the comp board. And then I have, I think, 1 that's partially funded, and then the other is funded by county.
But even the bonuses for her office and the treasurer's offices are funded at half. So we'll give them a $500 bonus, we'll get $250 back from the comp board.
We'll entertain a motion.
I move that
we approve the public hearing. It's just a
Second, yeah, second that.
Mr. Emmer?
Yes.
Mr. Townsend?
Yes.
Ms. Cooper Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Watson?
Yes.
Mr. Jenkins?
Yes.
Dr. Pride?
Yes.
Mr. Gillum?
Yes.
My vote is yes. The motion carries.
Next item is appropriation for the Commissioner of the Revenue. Commissioner,
While she's coming up with that said, it behooves us to talk to your.
would you like to
people
do
who
this, or would you like me to do it?
No,
Let
you
them
do it, I'm
realize
just gonna stand here in
Okay.
case
Keep on
anybody
putting
has
these
questions.
mandates on us to pay, and they don't come up with the money, and then they only come up with half of it to begin with. Not knowing what we've already given as a bonus or raise or anything else,
Makes them look good.
in their eyes.
The Commissioner of Revenue will exceed the 25-26 adopted budget due to several unforeseen operational expenses, and is requesting board approval to carry over $25,000 from the FY '25 budget to cover the shortfall. During the current fiscal year, the office incurred a significant increase in postage costs due to a system error that required 827 manual abatements and corresponding mailings to affected taxpayers. Additionally, staff completed a comprehensive correction of conservation easements, reviewing the current year and the prior 3 years to address longstanding taxation discrepancies. To support this workload, a part-time employee was brought back to assist with transfers while staff continue work related to Nottaway, Prince Edward County border adjustment and associated GIS corrections. In FY '25, the Commissioner's Office had $43,297 in unexpended funds. The current request is to utilize approximately $25,000 to offset the overage, recognizing that these expenses were necessary to ensure accurate records compliance and improve service delivery. The Commissioner acknowledges the importance of maintaining the adopted budget, but notes that these corrective actions were essential to improving operations and serving the citizens of Prince Edward County. Moving forward, the office remains committed to operational improvements while maintaining fiscal responsibility.
And I'll be glad to answer any questions that you all may have.
I'm sure the system error has been corrected
Yes,
that require the manual abatements.
yes.
Yes, ma'am.
It took about 2 weeks, but
Nobody wants that to happen again, so.
no, we do not. That was very unfortunate, but I can assure you going forward, that will not happen again.
I move that, approve that measure.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Mr. Emmert?
Yes.
Mr. Townsend?
Yes.
Ms. Cooper-Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Watson?
Yes.
Mr. Jenkins?
Yeah.
Dr. Pride?
Yes.
Mr. Gillum?
Yes.
My vote is yes. The motion carries.
I just want to say thank you to the chair and the board for all of your continued support and, you know, helping me with what I need and what my office needs to, you know, provide better service, better guidance to the citizens and the taxpayers of Prince Edward County, because that is my ultimate goal. And I just want to say thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I still have those mobile home stickers if it works.
I just want to say thank you for getting the tax books done on time so we get the tax bills out when they need to get out.
You're welcome.
That doesn't mean you get to do this again, but
Next is FY '26 school appropriation. The Board of Supervisors has received a request from the Prince Edward County School Board to appropriate federal funds totaling $9,800 in federal funds to the school operating budget as described below. It's for Title I, neglected and delinquent children.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Mr. Emmert?
Yes.
Mr. Townsend?
Yes.
Ms. Cooper-Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Watson?
Yes.
Mr. Jenkins?
Yes.
Dr. Pride?
Yes.
Mr. Gillum?
Yes.
My vote is yes. The motion carries.
Next is the appropriation from the Tobacco Commission Grant Number 4403. On August 12, 2025, the board approved the submission of a grant application to the Tobacco Regional Revitalization Commission under FY '26 Southern Virginia Program to support Phase 2 of the county's wayfinding signage project, which includes the fabrication and installation of 8 Trailblazer signs. The county has been awarded the TRRC reimbursement grant of $74,800, which requires a 1-to-1 local match. The required match will be funded through committed special projects transit occupancy tax revenues. Staff requests board approval to appropriate the grant funds and authorize the transfer of committed funds to satisfy the required matches outlined below.
So moved.
second.
We have a motion and a second. Mr. Emmert?
Yes.
Mr. Townsend?
Yes.
Ms. Cooper-Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Watson?
Yes.
Mr. Jenkins?
Yes.
Dr. Pride?
Yes.
Mr. Gillum?
Yes.
My vote is yes. The motion carries.
Last item I have for you is IDA reimbursement appropriation. The IDA received a request for tax incentive payments from the Five Pillars meets. Incentive payments are directly linked to real estate and personal property taxes collected by the county. Staff is asking the board to appropriate funds previously collected to reimburse the IDA for tax incentive expenditures in the amount of $799.28.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Mr. Emmert?
Yes.
Mr. Townsend?
Yes.
Ms. Cooper-Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Watson? Mr. Jenkins?
Yes.
Dr. Pride?
Yes.
Mr. Gillum?
Yes.
And my vote is yes. The motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, Cheryl. Mr. Stanley?
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, a few things to report on this evening. First, I want to report that for the second year in a row, Prince Edward County has been recognized by the Virginia Business Magazine as a best place to work. We were voted number 28 in the medium employer category. That's 100 to 249 employees. Most importantly, we're the only local government in the state of Virginia that was recognized. So and I know, a place like Davenport, there are lots of businesses in Virginia. It's a well-recognized program, but I want to give Crystal a hand for hard work of making sure. But part of this process is they email and do a survey with our employees at a random level. So, you can't control what folks are going to say, but what it tells me is people appreciate their supervisors, the support they get from the board, from their staff. They appreciate the compensation they're getting, and they enjoy working here. So those are all important things. So everybody, including the board members, you all get a pat on the back as well. Dominion Power has reached out to us about their proposal to build a 3,000 megawatt gas-fired power plant in northwest Cumberland County. The project is pretty far from Prince Edward, but obviously the local media will be covering it. I sent y'all some background information last week. If you have any questions, let me know. I can try to get those answered. But I think based on the location, I don't think we'll get a whole lot of fallout or feedback here.
25 miles away? It's northern.
Yes,
30,
35, 40, yeah. Yeah.
Over next to Bremen.
Our,
Fuel depot?
that gas line, yeah.
Above
Above it. The 1% sales tax referendum, I know we heard from the senator tonight, there is still the potential they could get included in the budget language. All bets are off as to what's going to get included. We're keeping our eye on that. Planet Network broadband project as of April 1st. We haven't added any more miles of fiber, but they did 65 customer installs in March. And I found out today they did 95 in Prince Edward this last month. So they're finally really starting to uptick. I'm looking for the adding fiber to some of those areas, particularly in the Hampton district and the Lee district. We've got some areas, and probably Bill, some of your district, that still need to get covered. So we'll keep an eye on that. Our pre-application, as Chelsea mentioned, for the site in the industrial park for potential grading grant has been determined eligible, so we'll see how that shakes out. The Prince Edward County's comprehensive plan will be recognized with the Virginia chapter of the American Planning Association's 2026 Old Dominion Award for innovative approaches for communities with a population less than 100,000. That's a big deal. Thanks to the board, planning commission, and staff, particularly Robbie, for their work. Part of that really was how we brought in, and Longwood is part of the process in that discussion. So Robbie and I will be going to the conference in Danville here in July to accept that award. Dry cleaners. We lost our only dry cleaners in town. Deluxe Dry Cleaners is closed. They were looking, I think, to close or sell anyway, but their machine went down. I think the owner indicated it was $90,000 to purchase a new machine. They weren't going to make that investment. Chelsea's already been on it. She's been contacting other dry cleaning, whether it's Appomattox or up towards Woodlake, talking to different outfits about the potential. At least put a storefront and be able to take the stuff out, drop off. That's absolutely correct. So I'll keep you posted on that. But I think, given the two colleges and the hospital, we need, those are the types of things we need in the community. It's a quality of life thing. Again, Worsham Road is back open, and Douglas Church Road is being a weight reduction. We'll keep an eye on that, Lou, to see, ideally, you get that fixed, you get a fire truck or pumper or tanker across it. I know, lastly, Lee District meeting, 21st, next Thursday, 6 o'clock. Meharron Fire Department, right, Jerry?
Where on the back end of City Road was that horrible car accident?
Near Germantown, I believe.
Germantown.
Yeah.
Between
I
Germantown
rode
and,
the road trying to see where I think it was. They cleaned it up really well, but I think that I saw where it was.
Okay, just a slight,
Yeah, somebody was driving crazy.
6:07 in the morning is when, because they had an automatic detection system went off. But, yeah, it's tragic. I think the individual that passed away worked at the Woodland was Eagle Scout and local Prince Edward County graduate.
Yeah, he was one of our former students.
On his
One
way
of
to-
my students, yeah.
On his way to work. He worked dietary department, I believe, at the Woodland. So, that's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
All right. We will continue to keep that family in our prayers. Do we have any further business before we adjourn? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion.
just one quick thing, because I told him I would bring it up, the Hampton Sydney fireworks. People were upset about that, but that's all I'm gonna say about it. Roll on.
Upset that it went on, or upset?
Upset that it was a.
Burn ban
there was a
exemption.
burn ban, and they were allowed to do that, and then people couldn't burn trash, but anyway, that's all.
I appreciate, at the end of the day, that decision landed on my desk. I will say, I think Trey did an outstanding job of working with the state to come up with conditions under which we were comfortable allowing that to happen, including posting staff there and pre-wetting the field. But, you know, it's, they lowered they use like 2 and 3 inch versus 4 or 6 inch shells. So I completely understand. We talked about all those things as part of that decision making, but I think, and I will say, Hampton-Sydney did not give any pressure to us. It was our decision at the end of the day.
It was just brought to my attention, and I said, hey, I will bring it up. I said,
But they had a heck of an event, or it was really well attended.
very well. Motion made to adjourn?
I'll entertain the motion.
So moved.
Second.
A motion and a second. Supervisor Emmerich?
Yes.
Mr. Townsend?
Yes.
Ms. Cooper-Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Watson? Mr. Jenkins? Dr. Pride?
Yes.
Mr. Gillum?
Yes.
My vote is